So now we're setting up phone call tracking from your website. Now there are two main ways to do this. We're going to basically cover each of them. The first option you have is to track clicks on your phone number, right? Now this is ideal for mobile users where people are actually on their mobile phone browsing and they tap to call you. That's ideal. The second option is to track actual phone calls using a Google forwarding number. That's where Google literally replaces your website number with a Google forwarding number. It tracks call duration, start time, and conversions. It's more accurate. Setup is a little bit more involved, but you can see that with the first option there, tracking clicks to call on your mobile phone, first of all, you'll mostly miss all of the people that are just reading the number off the screen on a desktop and then typing it into their computer. And also, it doesn't track whether or not the phone call actually went through. So I could tap to call and then change my mind 5 seconds later, and it would still count as a conversion. Either way, there's still a lot of use in both methods. So if you imagine most users are mobile, you might want to just go with click-to-call tracking, right? So you're going to track on the button of how many people actually click to make that call. If you want real call data, you want to get a bit more granular with it, you're probably going to want a Google forwarding number. And if you need to track every source and record phone calls and listen to them, you might want to use CallRail, which is a third-party software covered in the advanced section of this program. So with regard to tracking clicks to call, what it does is it, as I said earlier, it literally tracks when users click your phone number, like the link itself. So it doesn't really tell you whether or not that phone call was completed. In terms of setting it up, we're going to create a conversion action in Google Ads and we're going to name it clicks to call. And then in Google Ads, in Google Tag Manager, we're going to create a Google Ads conversion tag and set the trigger to fire when someone clicks to call. And we're going to link those to Google Tag Manager and Google Ads via that tag. It's easy to implement. It's good for tracking mobile engagement, but as I said, it doesn't guarantee the call really occurred and it misses most landline or desktop calls. So we're setting up click-to-call tracking. First step, I've got a brand new fresh Google Ads account here. I've gone over to goals and then to summary, and I'm viewing the fact that we have no conversion actions. I'm going to go ahead and create one, and this needs to be a click-to-call conversion action. So this is going to be conversions from phone calls. So I can go ahead and hit continue. I'd like that to be a phone call lead, and I can basically just add a conversion action. Now, I would like that to be calls from website visits. Obviously, I have two options here. Someone calls a number shown on my website, or someone makes a call by clicking a number on my website. So we're going to do this one, clicking a number on my website. We can hit use this event and then save and continue. Now, notice I have a few options here. It's asking me to finalize the process and set things up. Now, what I want to do is use Google Tag Manager. So you might see a different screen depending on how up-to-date your Google Ads account is. But so this is my click-to-call action. If I click into that, I'll be able to actually view the details that we need in Google Tag Manager. So I need this information here. What I'm going to do is take that conversion ID and then head over to Google Tag Manager to create the corresponding tag. Now, Google Tag Manager is already installed on the landing page. So we've also got the Google tag and the conversion link are in place. What I need to do is go new, tag configuration, and here I'm going to go Google Ads, and it's going to be a Google Ads conversion tracking tag. The conversion ID that I copied from before goes straight in here. Now, if I go back to the Google Ads account, I want to take the conversion label, and that is going to go just here. So I can go ahead and call this click to call Google Ads conversion tracking. Now the trigger, that's an interesting question. How are we going to actually trigger this conversion to occur? What I need to do first is a little test. So I'm going to save this and leave it as it is for now, but it's not finished. We have to come back to that. Now I'm going to press preview and I'm going to pull up my landing page to run a quick test in order to know what Google Tag Manager is actually tracking when I click the phone button, when I click to make that call. So here we are on the landing page. If I go back to the preview, notice that it's connected, it's tracking, it's all good. Now notice that when I click to call, it does certainly open FaceTime here, but when I go over to the preview here, it's not actually tracking anything. So there's nothing occurring when I make that click to call. This happens sometimes. If it's happening to you, don't stress. What you need to do is go back to Tag Manager, and we're going to create a trigger. It's just a bit of a glitch. We kind of have to force the system. So we're going to make a click trigger for all elements, fire on all clicks. So we can simply call that click all elements, and we can publish that. Usually that pushes things through so that it kind of forces it to recognize the clicks that you're making. So now if I come to the site and make a click to call, and I head back to Tag Manager, I should actually see that that click has gone through. Now what I'm looking for are variables to reflect that particular click, which we can see just here. So the click text is that, and the click URL is tell, so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is just take that tell there, and this is going to refer back to our actual phone tag where I want that to be the trigger. So if I go to our click to call, notice that there's no trigger currently set. Here I'm going to create a new trigger, and that trigger is going to be for, we're going to go clicks, we can go some clicks, and as per what we saw in Tag Manager, we want to see click URL contains tell, right? And just like that, we will have set up a click to call phone tag. Okay, so it's the Google tags there, it's all connected. We have that click URL contains tell. So I'm going to go ahead and save and then submit that. So that's gone ahead and been submitted. What I might want to do now is a quick test just to ensure that that is actually, that's alive and well. So if I go preview and connect, here I am on the site. Now it's all tracking here, it's connected, that's good. And I'm going to hit call. And notice that when I hit call, we've just triggered the click to call Google Ads conversion tracking tag. So that's good, that's done and dusted, completely ready to go. So now we're going to track real phone calls with a Google forwarding number. Now what we're doing here is we're replacing the visible number with a dynamic Google number. So they're going to change your phone number on your site. It's going to log call start, duration, and conversion. Now, in terms of the requirements, you do need the Google tag installed on your site in order to do this. Now that was covered in the module above where it says, 3 quick things to do. That's where we covered installing the Google tag via Google Tag Manager, firing on all pages. And you'll also need a phone number that's displayed in plain text on your website. So not inside an image, but actually displayed in plain text. Now, in terms of the setup steps, in Google Ads, you're going to want to create a call conversion action for calls to your website. And then Google will automatically replace the number for eligible users. We're going to run through it all in detail in a second. In terms of the pros, it tracks actual phone calls, so it's really handy in that regard, and it includes duration and conversion data. The cons are that it only works with Google Ads traffic. It's limited design flexibility for styling the number, and also sometimes users can be confused because Google cycles through their forwarding numbers through various businesses. So if a user calls you today and then they save your number, for example, that number that they called, and then they make another call tomorrow, it might not actually go through to you. So I have heard problems with that. Even going back to my Google days, that's been an issue. But for the most part, it's pretty accurate. So now we're going to dive into how to actually set it up. So setting up Google forwarding number tracking, starting in our conversion goals section. Notice here we got the click to call one from the previous example. I'm going to go ahead and create a new conversion action. And we're going to go conversions from phone calls, save and continue. Now that's going to be a phone call lead. And we're going to click add conversion action. So what we want to do is go calls from website visits, but instead of doing the click to call thing, we're doing calls from a number shown on my website. So what we need to do is now put the number in. Now on my landing page, the number is displayed like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in directly, exactly as it is. And that phone number is exactly the same as the way it's actually displayed. So we're going to use this particular event and hit save and continue. Now, depending on your version of Google Ads, you might see a screen like this, which doesn't actually have Google Tag Manager details. You can, like in my case, go ahead and click finish, and then I'm going to come back to it once I've actually saved it there. And I'm going to come into the screen that's got it. And here's where I should be able to actually access the Tag Manager details. So here we have the conversion ID and the conversion label, and they're going to come in handy in a second. So if I go back to Google Tag Manager, what I want to do is create a new tag for that particular action. So we're going tag configuration, that's going to be Google Ads, and it's going to be a Google Ads calls from website conversion. So the conversion ID, very, very simple. We're just copy pasting the conversion ID and the conversion label in like this. We can call it Google Ads calls from website conversion. In terms of triggering, we're going to want that to fire on all pages. Now, what we do need to do is just change the number. So the displayed phone number to replace is just the same as what I did before, which is just going to be like this. And we're going to replace that particular number. Simple as that. We're going to go ahead and click save. And then we can publish that change. So submit, publish, and continue. Now, if we want to run a little bit of a test to see if it's actually working, you can add this little string to the end of your URL up here, which is /# Google-WCC, that's website call conversion, -debug. And then you'll see if it's actually working and what it's actually subbing out. You might need to do it in an incognito window. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. What we should see is a little window appear which says attempting to auto replace. And I can actually force that to work there. And notice it's completely changed the number up here. It's actually done it at all instances throughout the page, which is exactly what we wanted. So here's another example. And there you have it. So that's the call tracking from the Google forwarding number perspective.